What's this? A letter for me.
Welcome to another episode of Remember the Great Sports Through the Mail Thursdays. Today I'm going to share with you 3 envelopes I recently received back. I did, however, decide to open these because they do have a common theme, and as you can tell from the intro, these are all Baltimore Oriole greats. So I decided to open the envelopes before the video for one very reason. I'm going to show that to you right now, and that is this unique set that I happen to get some singles out of. I do not think I have the whole complete set. I'd have to double check. But I picked these up probably about 10 or 15 years ago at a card show in somebody's dime box. And when I hit them, I just bought them all. I made an offer to the seller and he told me, give me $3 for the whole stack. So what these are these are special lottery cards from, I guess, the Maryland State Lottery. And if you scratched this off, there was like a code or something to see if you won a prize or something along those lines. So a very unique set. I don't know a lot about it, but you're going to see 3 of them out of the set in this episode. So obviously the first return is from former Baltimore Oriole great Gary Reniki on 1. A second is an Oriole. Third is a New York Yankee. And a fourth on a 86 Topps Traded as a New York Yankee. So let's talk about Gary Renike's career. Gary Reniki was a native of California, played his high school ball in California, and was actually drafted in the 1973 draft in the first round, 8th overall out of high school. He would sign with the Expos, and he would spend 4 years in the Montreal Expos organization, working his way up to AAA, before 1976 getting his major league call-up to the majors with the Expos. He would appear in 29 games in 1976 for the Astros, but in 1977 would find his entire season in the Expos AAA affiliate again. Well, going into the 1978 season, he was traded by the Expos to the Baltimore Orioles. He would begin the year in AAA for the Orioles in 1978 and would appear in 27 games for the Orioles in 1978. Well, going into the 1979 season, the position was his, and he responded by batting .261. He would follow up the next year, appearing in 118 games. However, his home run totals dropped down to 10, and his batting average dropped down to .239. He would then primarily be used as a part-time player during the 1981 season. Going into the 1982 season, he would again be a starter and would respond with hitting 21 home runs, the second most out of his career previous to his 25, his first full season. Well, he would be an integral part of the Orioles championship team in 1983, again being their primary outfielder, appearing in 115 games. However, he only hit 13 home runs that season with the Orioles. Well, going into the 1984 season, he again was the primary starting outfielder, appearing in 121 games. However, his batting average dipped down to just .224 that season. 1985 wasn't much better as his batting average dropped down to .218. Well, going into the 1986 offseason, decided to trade Reniki to the New York Yankees, as you can see from the 86 Topps Traded there and 87 Topps. With the Yankees, Reniki would not be a primary outfielder, but would be a primary bench player coming off the bench for the Yankees for a season. After the 86 season, he would again pack his bags going to Atlanta as he signed a free agent contract in 1987 with the Braves. The Braves would again use him as primarily as a backup outfielder in 87, and going into the 88 season, he was on the Braves roster as a backup. However, in July, he was let go from his position and released from his contract in July of 1988. Reniki would never play in the majors again after his tenure at the Braves. Fast forward, Reniki was elected to the Baltimore Orioles Hall of Fame. He Has a son, Josh Reniki, who pitched in the majors briefly. The last I saw, I think Josh was playing in the Japanese league. I don't know if he's still pitching in that league or not. And finally, his brother, Ron Roenicke, is also the manager of the Boston Red Sox. So, thank you very much, Mr. Reniki. Very happy to add this Orioles great to my collection. Alright, sticking with the themes of Orioles greats, this is former teammate of Gary Reniki, Scott McGregor, on this lottery card, on a Swell Legends card, a 1985 Topps, and a 1987 Donruss, 4-4. So let's talk about Mr. McGregor, and I'll tell you about his career. Another California native, Scott McGregor, was drafted out of high school in the first round of the 1972 draft by the New York Yankees. McGregor would sign with the Yankees and spend 4 seasons in the Yankees organization before he was traded in 1976 to the Baltimore Orioles, along with Tippy Martinez, if you remember that from a previous video. McGregor would split time in that 1976 season with the Yankees and the Orioles minor league system, but would later make his major league debut appearing in 3 games, starting 2 of them for the Orioles that season. Well, in 1977, he would spend most of the year with the Orioles, pitching out of the bullpen, but starting 5 games. Well, in 1978, he got the role as a starter, starting 35 games and winning 15 games the 1978 season for the Orioles. McGregor would be a centerpiece of the Orioles' starting rotation from hereafter for many years. In 1980, he would go 20-8 for the Baltimore Orioles, by far having his best season in his entire career. Ironically, however, in 1981, he would get his first All-Star appearance despite winning 20 games the previous year. He would go 13-5 that season with the Orioles. Like his counterpart Gary Reniki, McGregor was part of the 1983 championship Baltimore Orioles that won the World Series, and he would spend the rest of his career with the Orioles as a starter up until about, it looks like, 1987, where they moved him to the bullpen for part-time starter and relief duty. And in 1988, he only started 4 games, before he retired from baseball. So he spent his entire major league career with the Orioles. However, he did originally start out in the Yankees organization. So overall, McGregor won 138 games and lost 108 games in a 13-year major league career with the Orioles. Just like Reniki, he is also part of the Baltimore Orioles Hall of Fame, so one of the greatest pitchers to ever go through the Orioles system. I'm very happy to add his autograph to my collection as well, and thank you very much, Mr. McGregor. Alright, so finally, this last one is another Baltimore Oriole great, and that is former Oriole third baseman Doug DeCinces on 1. Then with the Angels after the Orioles on 2. On this really nice Topps all-time fan favorite reproduction, a Diamond King, and also this 87 Topps. So let's talk a little bit about Doug DeCinces and his career. So like the other 2, Reniki and McGregor, DeCinces also grew up in California, where he played his high school ball. He also attended Los Angeles Pierce College for a season. He was drafted originally by the San Diego Padres, but chose not to sign, and then returned to college and was drafted in the 3rd round by the Baltimore Orioles. Well, after being drafted in 1970, he would spend a couple years in the minor leagues until 1973, when he got his call up at the end of the season for 10 games. He would spend then almost the entire 1974 season in the minors for the Orioles, and then would get a shot at playing part-time and more or less became the heir apparent to replacing Brooks Robinson at third base. That's a pretty big pair of shoes to fill, so to speak. Well, in his first full season in 1976, DeCinces responded, playing third base and hitting 11 home runs his first full year in the majors. Well, the following year, you could see him continue to blossom, and he hit 19 home runs while batting .259. Well, in 1978, DeCinces would really claim third base as his own, hitting 28 home runs and batting .286 while driving in 80 RBIs for the Orioles that season. He would continue to play for the Orioles all the way through the 1981 season until 1982, when he was traded by the Orioles to the California Angels. Well, with California, he would continue to progress his game and actually would have a superb season in 1982, hitting 30 home runs and batting .301, which are marks that were the best of his career overall. In 1983, following his best season, he would make the All-Star team for the first time. And from 1982 to 1987 almost, he would be a regular at third base for the California Angels until at 36 years old in 1987, he was released by the California Angels. Well, he decided to sign with the St. Louis Cardinals for the remainder of the season, which was about a week, and he played for about a week for the St. Louis Cardinals, appearing in 4 games. However, after that, he was let go by the Cardinals and never played in the major leagues again. So, finally, I want to thank Mr. DeCinces for signing for me. His son actually also played some minor league baseball for a while, Tim DeCinces. I'm not going to talk about Mr. DeCinces' legal problems. You're more than welcome to look that up on your own. But I just want to focus on his baseball career and how happy I am to add his autograph to my collection, along with the Scott McGregor autograph. Whoops, kind of dropped my card there. There's the swell version. And along with the Gary Reniki cards. And again, I want to talk about these cards. These are a very cool little set that, like I said, I picked up for next to nothing. And again, I don't have the entire complete set, I don't think. I just have a lot of singles. There's, of course, guys like Brooks Robinson, Frank Robinson, Jim Palmer on down the list. And I want to say that there's some deceased players in the set as well, so it would be almost impossible to try to get this whole set signed nowadays. So thank you very much, gentlemen, for signing for me. I look very much forward to your comments below. Tell me what you think of these autographs. Baltimore Orioles edition. Thanks.